Hi, it's Pastor Paul L. Anderson here at the Fountain of Raleigh Fellowship, where we believe God's blessings never stop flowing. It is a wonderful day. It is Terrific Tuesday. It's the day in which we thank God how He has brought us into this new work week and that we're moving forward because God promises that He'll lead us, He'll be beside us, and He'll be behind us. That means that God is our protection. Regardless of whatever you're going through, whatever's happening around you, always know that God will surround you with His love, His grace, His mercy, and His peace, and you can make it. Because you know, in this year of 2022, you are indeed blessed by God, and nobody can do anything about it. Today, I want to invite you to look with me into the book of Leviticus, the 25th chapter, verses 1 through 19. A very powerful time in this passage. This is that book of the law. It begins to talk to us about the Sabbath year and the year of Jubilee. It is in the life of ancient Israel that God taught them about rotation of crops, but also how it has some spiritual significance to it as well. They found out in order to make sure that they were always producing at their maximum, they would grow their crops for 6 years. They would turn the soil over and over, put whatever nutrients they could in it. And then they would find themselves on the 7th year. It was called the Sabbath year. It was during that time frame they didn't plant anything in the soil. That's the reason why we can learn so much from Joseph and how Joseph became the Secretary of State, so to speak, the Secretary of Agriculture. He knew how to store up things for the days and the years to come, and even when the lean days come. We must always remind ourselves, just as that happened with crops, as they rotated them, as they made sure they didn't take all the nutrients from out of the soil, we must do the same thing with ourselves spiritually. There comes a time in all of our lives that we must learn to push back to get some rest. Just most recently, I took a few days for my wife and I to take a little bit of rest, to push back away from it all. It is important for us to see that in this book of Leviticus, it talks about the Sabbath day or the 7th year rest. You know, when God created the world, it tells us in the book of Genesis that it was on 6 days that He created everything, and the 7th day was a day of rest. The Bible teaches us that all of us, we should have something built into our lives that gives us moments of rest, moments of rejuvenation, time in which we can sharpen our axe. The story is told of these two lumberjacks. One was young and the other one was older, and they had a tree cutting competition. And who could cut down the most trees in a day's period of time? The younger guy, he just went out whacking away, knocking down trees. The older gentleman, after every tree he cut down, he sharpened his axe. When they got to the end of the day, the younger gentleman knew for sure, because he had so much perspiration and how he did so much, that he had cleared more trees than the older man. Well, the older man, he had some perspiration, but he also had some inspiration. He sharpened his axe. And because of that, he was sharper. He had better cuts. He had better swings. And he won the competition. It lets all of us see it's not in the perspiration and putting ourselves into things, but it's also the inspiration. Realizing there comes a time in all of our lives we have to sharpen ourselves. It is finding out in this text how they gave the land a time to rest. I want to ask you the question, ask myself the question. Do we give ourselves time to rest? In the busy world in which we live, we think that we should always be working 24/7. We have watches, we have phones, we have computers that remind us of everything. And some of us, we never turn work off because it's always on. It's important for us to turn some things off. Use your do not disturb. Have a few moments of rest and relaxation, a few moments to give your mind and most of all your spirit a breather. You know, in all of our lives, God has built us in such a way that even in nature, when it comes to the evening, the nighttime, it becomes dark and things sleep and things rest to be ready for the next day. May all of us make sure that we give ourselves enough rest, just like they did with the land. It talks about the year of Jubilee. It was in that time, after they got to the 50th year, that things were different, that they gave it a whole rest like never before. You and I need to tell ourselves when Jubilee comes, let's book within our lives, let's book within our schedules some moments of Sabbath and Jubilee, times for us to rest, times for us to just enjoy the blessings of the Lord instead of thinking it's all about our perspiration. But guess what? It's more about our inspiration. When the Holy Spirit comes into our lives, He fills us and He enfolds us with the love of God. And then we'll not only have strength for today, but we'll have strength for the days ahead. And I want to remind you, get some rest. It's the best thing that you can ever do for yourself, and it's the best thing you can do for your family and your friends. May God bless you. May heaven smile upon you, and rest on the blessings of God, because in this year of 2022, God has a great blessing that's in store for you. And I'll see you on tomorrow.
To sow a seed to the Fountain of Raleigh Fellowship, visit our newly redesigned website, thefountainofraleigh.org, and select Sow a Seed from the homepage. Also, giving has been made easier with the new Fountain of Raleigh app, available now in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. Download today, select Giving from the main menu, and then follow the directions to complete your giving through Subsplash.
Thank you so very much for all of your gifts and donations that you've given to the Fountain of Raleigh Fellowship. We thank you for what you've done in the past, what you're currently doing, and what you will do in the future. Your gifts and donations helps us to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ, not only locally, but throughout the world. Thank you again for your gifts, and may God continue to richly bless you. It is here at the Fountain that we believe that we are exceedingly and abundantly blessed, and may you receive those blessings that God has in store for you.